Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Welcome You to Kung Fu, this show where I bring on a guest who does not have an unhealthy addiction to Kung Fu and martial arts cinema just as I do. I let them pick any movie from the genre that draws their interest, and I pick a companion movie, something that complements their choice. This month, my guest is one of the most consistent creators across TikTok and Instagram, with a combined 80,000 followers across social media, a member of the AAFCA, African American Film Critics Association, the first class flying, the red carpet walking, always movie talking, and after today, he'll be Kung Fu fighting. Brock, I welcome you to Kung Fu.
Martial expert. There's not many who can match up with him.
Very happy to be here. What an intro. What an intro, man. Like I mean, just gas me up some more. I'll hire you to do that every morning for me.
Look,
So,
sometimes you write something and you're like, that's good.
yeah, that's really good.
And honestly,
that was one time, man.
I was driving home from work today, and I remembered you posted something of like your meal or something on the flight, and you said something first class, and I was like, I just immediately, my brain went Ric Flair. I'm a wrestling fan, and I was like,
I am too. Yeah, first class lifestyle. Oh yeah, don't get me started. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. My recent trip. So thank you, man. Again, I'm very excited to be here and chat with one of my favorite genres of movies. Believe it or not.
Hell yeah, it is very much my very favorite genre. Before we jump into some Kung Fu, what do you have going on with Movie Talk with Brock?
Man, I mean, not a whole lot. Just got back from LA. That was pretty cool. My first time out there with content stuff and nice city. Could never live there though. It was cool. Um, I think really, man, what I'm most excited for is just this month in March for the nerdy culture. As you can see in my background, I'm a nerd. Big month with Invincible season 4, Daredevil Born Again season 2. We have the last season of The Boys
Is
starting
Daredevil
as
this
well.
month?
Yeah, this
That
month.
feels fast.
It was, yeah. They shot him back to back, Born Again, and then we have the Darth Maul show starting early
Yeah.
April, like on April 1st or whatever. So, very excited. Just a good time to be a nerd. Just a good time to talk about stuff. I'm glad that it's TV because the movie side of things I know is going to pick up, and the best part about everything I just said, it's week to week, which is my preferred format of television, and
Right.
much more easier to consume and digest. As far I hate the binge. My younger days I like binging, but yeah, man. Other than that, just I live here in Ohio, ready for the weather to get nice again. Other than
Right.
that, just chilling, doing the damn thing.
I'll give you something else to get excited about this month, and I think it's like March 17th, I think, is there's a movie that came out last year. It's an Italian film. It's an Italian martial arts movie called The Forbidden City. And
Okay,
it comes out this month here in the States. And
that's sick.
I've seen it, and it's good.
Mm.
And when I say it's good, I mean like truly it's very, very good.
Yeah, for you to put your stamp on that, I trust that. Yeah. So okay, I'll have to check that out, man. I'll have to check that out.
Abso freaking lutely. A few questions before we jump into the Kung Fu here. What is your experience or history with martial arts and Kung Fu cinema?
Man, my martial arts and Kung Fu Summer love is very nostalgic because it goes all the way back to a little video rental store called Blockbuster.
Right.
Because like they had like the niche and obscure stuff, and one of the movies we'll talk about today was kind of my entry into that. But I literally still have my VHS copy and DVD, like we use copy when like Blockbusters will sell movies of Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan. That was
Yeah.
the first one of my favorites. And just like week to week, I would always try and pick out because like I guess I know back in the day, it was just you're judging a movie off its poster, off its DVD cover, and I'm like, that just kind of looks cool. Like I just would go and watch all the kung fu movies that I could see, like Police Story with Jackie Chan, some of Jet Li's early stuff, J John Woo's movies that he's done as well. His movies and like when he came over to America with like, Face Off. I know it's not like a mixed martial art, but that's just one
Yeah,
of
I
my
hear it.
favorites. But
Look, I mean,
yeah,
John
just
Woo, I mean, most, you're going to talk the gun fu, but when it comes to Hong Kong action, you're gonna throw in your John Woo with your Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Of course, Bruce Lee, can't forget about him. That was one my dad loved growing up, and um, obviously you love that as well because he's in your background.
Mhm.
Um, and really just kind of, as I got older, I still stuck with it. Like I remember seeing, like I had it in my town where I was living at the time. They played like lesser known movies, and I got to see The Raid when it
Yep.
came out in theaters, like the first one before it kind of blew up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I was telling all my friends, like, dude, this is the most badass martial arts movie I think I've ever seen, and that statement is still true. And yeah, I mean, I've loved the genre. I've probably been more of like the a fan of like the American side of things over like
Mhm.
the past like 5, 6 years, but it's near and dear to my heart. It's why I took karate for 5 years because of martial arts movies, and I also was getting into some fights at school, and so my parents were like, "You're gonna do this instead of fighting." I
Mhm.
was like, "Okay, sweet." So it's it's a genre that's very near and dear to my heart for sure.
I saw the first Raid. I saw both Raid films in theaters, but I saw the first Raid film in theaters while wearing a suit.
Really?
Yeah, I had like a school function, like an award ceremony, and
Okay,
I wore a suit to it, and like that. Right after that, I hopped in the car with my dad, and we went to go see the Raid. So I saw the
that's
Raid
awesome.
in a suit.
That's awesome, dude. What an experience.
It was great. Uh, Based on sort of your experience with that genre, what is like I guess your preconceived notions when you hear kung fu cinema?
I would say hot like action, but like also it's more about like the culture as far as like where I think
Mm,
wherever it's coming from, and I think there's definitely an Americanized version of it, and then
right.
there's actual like kung fu, and there's a difference between that and like karate. Like as much as I
Mm,
love like the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, like that's not kung fu as
mm,
many people get it confused with. And yeah, I just think of action. I think of dudes getting punched in the face. I think of sweet
yeah.
sound effects. I think of great wire work. All that.
So like it sounds like a lot of your experience is the stuff that made it overseas. Like not everything makes it from Hong Kong
Yes.
over here, or even from Indonesia, Thailand, any of that stuff. So like just from the idea of what has made it over to America, what's like the imagery in your head of like if you picture like a Hong Kong movie or even just like a any kind of arts movie from anywhere in the world, what's like the image in your head from that?
Honestly, it's that box set behind you, It Man. Like I
Yeah.
just think of that like kind of just like the simple man trying to live a peaceful life, not trying to get drawn into the higher complexities of things, but he's drawn back in somehow with conflict to fight evil or an evil organization or something like that. Yeah,
Adversity,
specifically.
fighting against
Adversity.
something like that.
Yeah, it's a great word. Adversity.
It's not always you don't got to go like superhero movies. It doesn't always have to be world ending.
Yeah, I like my
It can just
stakes
be
low.
somebody offended you, somebody killed your master, somebody's terrorizing your neighbors.
Something like that. Yeah, someone looked at you funny. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not just in kung fu or martial arts, what do you typically look for in your action?
In my action, like I said, lower stakes characters I can care about. The end of the world stuff, I'm truly just kind of over. Um, Not just like hardcore action all the time though, to distract from like the lack of a story. Like I like some substance, I like some plot, I like some growth. But at the same time too, I can also just kind of be in a mood where I'm like, you know what? Let me just put on something to where I'm just kind of chilling, and I want to see a bunch of dudes just kind of get beat up because it's
Mm,
awesome. Maybe a couple Steven Seagal movies kind of fit that category,
right.
even though he's not the best martial artist. Um, but I would say like in a good, really really good action movie, it's again, like I said, it's characters I care about,
Mm,
great stunt work, not an over reliance on CGI. It's kind of funny, like I feel like 2020, like kind of the boom of the 21st century, the phase is more like, oh my gosh, like can you look at that CGI? Can you believe like that is computer generated? And now it seems like the trend is more like, oh my gosh, can you believe that was practical?
mm,
As opposed to like CGI. And so I'm much more of a practical guy. The less the better. That's why he's not in mixed martial arts, but like movies per se. But like it's why I have a huge love and respect for like Tom Cruise and like what he's doing with the Mission
mm,
Impossible franchise because
yeah.
he's crazy, but he wants people to be immersed and believe like what they're seeing truly is real. And so the more of that I can get, the better. And also a killer soundtrack too. You got to have a good soundtrack, which both of the movies we're going to talk about definitely did for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you're saying with the CGI, how it's evolved and how we perceive it and what we want in our CGI. I think you talk about those moments in the '90s and into the 2000s where it's like from Jurassic Park onward, it's like wow, the amazing things we can make real. George Lucas remaking, not get quite remaking, but changing things that he couldn't do in the '70s and what he could do in 1997 and releasing the Star Wars movies again. But like I think these days it's how can we make CGI as unnoticeable as possible? You want to
Right.
do anything practical that you can on screen, but then there's going to be those small touches that you don't even realize are CGI there.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it and putting it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think use it's a tool. Use it to enhance. You don't always have to make it the big focus on the screen.
Exactly.
I like it. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our first movie and your choice from the year 2000,
That's right.
Romeo Must Die.
Abbot, I want you to shave my head. If you refuse to help, I swear I'll burn this temple down.
Two families bound by tradition and locked in a war.
These two guys with the machine guns, they start blasting off, well, none of y'all make it home.
And one man
The old man didn't think you'd make it.
And you?
I knew you would. It's just a matter of time.
caught in the middle.
Trisha, I can't have you hanging with Choose boy.
What the hell were you doing in there? We're in the middle of a damn war.
Man, I love
Romeo
this
Must
movie.
Die, directed by I truly don't know how to pronounce this man's name. Andrzej Bartkowiak. Yes. Starring Jet Li, Aaliyah, Isaiah Washington, Russell Wong, Delroy Lindo, how topical, Anthony
Yep.
Anderson, and with a minor role for DMX. Fight choreography from Corey Yuen. When the eldest son of two warring when the eldest sons of two warring gangs are murdered, it is up to their surviving siblings to work together and get to the bottom of the conspiracy. Brock, why did you choose Romeo Must Die?
Well, I have such nostalgia for this movie. I call this the first part of the Jet Li hoodology of martial arts between this and Cradle to the Grave that he did back to back coming overseas. This was the first Jet Li movie I saw that my dad like allowed me to see. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing Lethal Weapon 4, which I believe that was like one of his first big American movies, but like
That was number one.
yeah, it was number one when he was a villain. But like I loved Aaliyah, rest in peace. So sad that we lost her so soon in such a tragic way. And so like there was a lot of hype around this, and always have loved Anthony Anderson, and he's quite a character in this. Damn some, And so this was constantly on TV. This is always like between I've seen this in Cradle to the Grave. I don't even know how many times between like I'd say between those two, and then I'll even throw in Unbreakable, which was another Jet Li movie I really liked.
Unleashed?
And sorry, Unleashed, yeah, with
Yeah.
the collar with Morgan Freeman. It's a wild but crazy movie. I just think this is totally like an Americanized version. Like, okay, we're trying to bring Jet Li over. We're gonna, bring in DMX, make him do songs for the soundtrack. One of the most famous song for the movie is "Try Again," a music video with Aaliyah and Jet Li that's played at the end of the song, and it's always just been entertaining me. Upon rewatch, I hadn't seen it probably in a couple of years, but I was surprised. I don't know if I really caught on as a kid so much, or like it's actually kind of a little bit of a slow burn. Like it's a crime drama with some kind of kung fu sprinkling in there, more towards like the end. And I just think Jet Li's pretty charming here. I think he's just kind of got like a playful nature to him a little bit. Like he's like I'm kind of acting dumb-ish. And boy, I mean, this is distributed by Warner Brothers, and you can feel the Matrix influence all over this
I have
thing.
several notes about that.
Yeah, all over the thing. The wire work and the like that.
Every
that
single
kind of
sound effect. Every sound
Dude.
effect is it's the exact same sound
Exact
effect
same
from
for the
Matrix.
Matrix. Yeah, I think Joel Silver probably was a producer on this. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. So, but yeah, I mean, with the success of that movie, everything's so Matrix coded like during this era. It's probably not like the most like it was doing some fun things too. Like remembering like the X-ray sequence, like kind of how that stuff happened. Like Mortal Kombat took that and made it into like a whole thing, which is kind of fun. And they were testing some things out. I think it was like, because I think, is this rated R or PG-13? This is rated R, right?
It could be rated R. I would probably guess PG-13.
Yeah, I know Cradle of the Grave's rated R. I know that for sure. But yeah, this just brings it back to my childhood of like when I would throw this on and like
That's
Kiss
gonna
of
be
the
rated R.
Dragon. Yeah. Oh, interesting. It doesn't feel like it, but I guess
It
it's
does
quite
not feel
like,
rated R.
I guess that with like the scene with his brother, I guess that is pretty brutal, like how he's hung up and whatnot. But besides that, it's pretty tame. But yeah, between this, I almost forgot Kiss of the Dragon and Cradle of the Grave. Those
I'm
are my
surprised you
three.
haven't yet brought up the one.
The One is also a bang. I have all those movies on my shelf there as well. Like that. That movie is just, it's wild. It's like when Jet Li exploded, he was doing some crazy stuff. I love The One. It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
I don't think I believe in the phrase guilty pleasure.
No,
Because I think,
it's just, I like it.
like what you like. If there's something
Yeah.
you like about The One or any movie that someone would refer to as a guilty pleasure, like state why you like it, represent it, hold it
Yeah.
up high. I will fully tell anybody why I like The One. The One, like, first of all, I grew up in the early 2000s. You're giving me new metal.
Yes.
I love new metal.
Dude.
So we're going to throw new metal in there with some kung fu. Jet Li's always great. And then that final fight is amazing. The One
Oh
rules.
yeah, and Jason Statham with hair. Come on, man.
Jason
Like, it
Statham
doesn't-
with hair.
Doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, those four movies, I have them all on DVD and Blu-ray. So, but this one specifically was just nostalgic. I remember, I just remember playing the fight scene between Han and I think it's is it Lee? I forget his character's name.
The final fight, that guy?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because it's kind of brutal and like Jet Li
The fire in the
screams.
hands and everything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, give me some skin, baby. Like it was pretty brutal. And, like his acting, I'm like, dude, he is selling this. Like that, he is like getting his ass whooped, and then just going back and like watching the trailers, like that fight was so heavily advertised, and specifically like the kick when he kicks him in the skull,
Right.
which is a brutal death. But also ends in a sad way, which is kind of interesting because a lot of American movies we like to end on a good note, but like for Han, he's lost his brother. He found out that his father killed his brother, and then his father kills himself, and it's just like, damn, like I think I kind of appreciated that like more as an adult. It's kind of heavy, because like at a good ending it would have been like, Dad, I forgive you, like I can't believe you did this, but we'll find a way back together. No, his
And to make
dad's
things
shame.
even more sad, for some reason the writers didn't let Jet Li kiss Aaliyah.
I know, dude. That was so. I think they were. I don't know if that was just a culture thing or what they were nervous about with Aaliyah. I don't know. That was dumb. Yeah, because at the end they totally like each other. Like, you okay? And like, he's like, I'm okay. Like they just walk away. I'm like,
Oh, dude,
it's
there's
kinda
like
corny.
the moment they meet, she like when she gets he's stolen a cab and she gets in the cab thinking he's the driver and they have this discuss the whole conversation and everything. When she gets out of the car and he's like watching her get out of the car, it's like I truly don't know if he's acting or if he is like in awe of Aaliyah, but it's like in his eyes.
I
You
think
look at
it's
his
both.
eyes and you're like, he's like, what? That man is head over heels for Aaliyah.
Yeah, I think it's both. He's like, "Ooh, this is what America's all about. Should have came over here sooner." So, plus I've always enjoyed this one because it's funny. Some of Jet Li's movies don't always have that. Of course, a lot of that has to do with Anthony Anderson. Some jokes have aged well, some haven't. But I think like he was definitely on a strike. He was on a hot streak during this era. I mean, between these movies, Cradle of the Grave, Barbershop, scary movies, he was hilarious. And then of course, Kangaroo Jack. Let me not disrespect Kangaroo Jack. And then, like you said, I had forgotten. I'm like, oh, Delroy Lindo. Look at that Oscar-nominated actor for Sinners, Mr. Delroy Lindo. Man, he hasn't aged at all. He looks like exactly the same.
No, hardly, yeah.
Yeah. So great cast of like some well-known actors and then some actors who are still obviously working. And it's near and dear to my heart. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and this is my fix. I typically watch it once a year, so it was great to watch it and just like, man, simpler times as a kid.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one in well over 10 years. Let me ask you, what impact did this movie like have on you when you first saw it as a kid?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Like you said, probably shortly this came out in 2000, so it's five. Cradle of the Grave came out in '03, so I was a little bit older, so like I got to kind of like understand, like appreciate it a little bit more. And so like this started like my love of between this and Rumble in the Bronx, but this specifically because I remember seeing it on the big screen, like started my love for like like Jet Li. Like I still love Jet Li, and like it's obviously, I don't like to talk about his expendable run because like he was just obviously a little bit too old to be doing movies and stuff and whatnot. But yeah, this started my obsession with Jet Li. My PlayStation 2 is back here. I still got Jet Li Rise to Honor on that. I don't know if you ever played that game
Oh no,
growing up.
heck yes, I did.
Dude, that game is revolutionary. It's still pretty dope. It's a lot of it's just different. And yeah, was like I want to just get myself immersed in this and just started my obsession with at the time for probably like age 5 to like 14, 15 for a good 10 years. This started my fix of kung fu movies.
Yeah, this movie is one piece of the puzzle that is me. As a huge kung fu nerd and all that, who has now dove deeper into more proper Hong Kong cinema and all this other stuff. Just a love for martial arts and Thai in general when it comes to cinema is like I grew up on Power Rangers, fighting games, and before you ever get to see the Hong Kong stuff, Rush Hour and the Medallion, this Cradle to the Grave, but like these movies, I don't think we ever had these. I would always just watch on TV whenever they came on.
So TNT specifically, I remember them being
TNT,
all the time.
FX, stuff like that. So like all those things from the video games to the Power Rangers to Jackie Chan stuff, and then this movie. I do remember watching this movie on TV a lot when it was on. It's just you put all those things together and you begin the mold that makes this kung fu nerd over here.
This is the mixed martial arts movie lore right here. I like it. For Tristan, that's dope. That's dope.
So since this movie, how far have you dove into Jet Li's filmography?
I've seen about everything that he's done. From
Hong Kong
when he
stuff?
oh yeah, most of it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like this is between this. The American ones I've definitely seen more, but I've definitely dove into his older stuff. Like Jin, I think one of his more underlooked and overrated movies, and it's one of my favorite martial arts movies just because of the journey and the core, is Fearless. I know that's supposed to be like his last
Fearless
movie.
Is fantastic, yeah.
It's so damn good, man. Like that, it's tragic at times and heartbreaking, but it's beautiful all at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like I don't want to say like I love Jackie Chan as well. He was definitely more of like the comedic side of things. So like I think I gravitate a little more to like darker stuff, more serious stories at times. So I think I've probably rewatched Jet Li's more over the years. Jackie Chan's are probably more memorable, and I remember like watching them more. But yeah, Jet Li was always kind of my guy between the two.
Yeah, Jackie has. I don't think I'd honestly say that he maybe is he's probably batting a negative percentage when it comes to his American stuff. But there's always something to be entertained by there. I even rewatched Around the World in 80 Days a couple years ago.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I will fully say Around the World in 80 Days is actually quite good.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very entertaining.
I think some of the more, again, overlooked like adventure movies, the Shanghai Nights movies. Shanghai Nights.
Oh, yeah, no. Shanghai Noon, I slightly prefer over Rush Hour, and I know I'm insane for that, but I do.
That is a little bit of a hot take, but I ain't going to be mad at you. Yeah, like I would much rather have a third of that than a fourth of Rush Hour. I don't even want to talk about that, but yeah.
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 But I bring that up to say, like, he has some entertaining stuff. He has some bad stuff, but he doesn't take a lot of risks with his Western stuff, with Jackie Chan doesn't. Whereas I think Jet Li took a few more swings into
Most
other.
definitely.
Like, this is probably his lightest Western film. Like it's probably this and like Forbidden Kingdom, but this is probably like the lightest he does. And then from there, I think you continue to get a bit darker. Cradle to the Grave is a small step. Kiss of the Dragon gets some pretty dark stuff in it.
Yeah.
Unleashed, like Jet Li, I truly think Jet Li gives a fantastic performance in Unleashed.
He does.
Yeah.
That movie's brutal too. Like the concept was ahead of its time.
Yeah. Well, so with Unleashed, I think it was maybe Luc Besson, but I think it was Luc Besson was like one of the writers on it or something. They saw Ong Bak, the Tony Jaa film. Have you seen Ong Bak?
I've heard of it. I've not seen it though.
Amazing, brutal, full impact. Thai action. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But Luc Besson essentially saw Ong Bak and was like, I want to be involved with something like that. And so from there, he's like, I need. So I think he was like maybe a writer or producer on Unleashed. But from Ong Bak, he was like, I want to make my own Ong Bak, and so that's where Unleashed comes in.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
It's
cool.
amazingly brutal. If you like Unleashed, you need to watch Ong Bak.
Ong Bak. Okay, I will
It's
definitely check that
fantastic.
out.
Yes, I had a couple notes on here, and one of them, every single like movement, I was like, why does this feel familiar? And it was because every single movement had that sound effect, and it was 100% just every single sound from The Matrix.
Yes, dude.
Movie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the whole and you brought up Joel Silver. I watched like some behind the scenes and some interviews and stuff. And even though like the guy whose name I can't pronounce is the director on this, Joel Silver is practically the director on this, because I've seen some behind the scenes stuff, and he is directing this movie just as much as anybody.
Yeah, one of those like a name no one's ever heard of, just to kind of have someone attached to it. But yeah, it's the studio. It's specifically, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
What element of the action of Romeo Must Die stands out to you the most?
Oh, I think like I mentioned the X-ray stuff. I like specifically to even like him doing. He does like a lot of like moves in the like midair, like a lot of like split kicks, a lot of bouncing off stuff. Like the frame rate gets sped up a little bit, specifically in that warehouse sequence. And it's very stylized, like over the top, but like fun at the same time. Like it's fun to watch. Like the football sequence, like and that was kind of fun, because he's like, I'm getting my ass kicked, and he's like, okay, well let me put my spin on this a little bit.
Why can't I hit them? You have the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And very much in tight spaces, a lot of the set pieces, like the first one, like where he escapes prison, when he's escaping Aaliyah's house, like kind of just like a little foyer, then in the warehouse. So I like the intimacy of a lot of those things, where it's not like, and and it has some like, and even like the random, and they're fun, like where they team up to take down the lady who's a Chinese hitman. And like he's like, I can't hit a girl. And Leah's like, hey, this is America. Like, if a girl's whooping you, and like just how much fun like that was, like for her doing that, and just fun, man. I like stuff like that. Maybe it's a little cheesy, maybe it's a little unrealistic. Like he probably could have fought her off, but I mean, I think it's a fun way to get the actors involved. And I think the fire hose sequence is probably the highlight of the film, when he's escaping in the warehouse, and just how he's using that and like sliding on things, bounce, like when he's. I think the video game Rise to Honor has that move where he like goes around in a circle, and like kicks all the guys. I'm like, I know it's unrealistic, but it was just badass. It was just sweet to watch.
It's funny you brought up Rumble in the Bronx earlier, because I never noticed it until this most recent watch. But the fight with Jet Li and Aaliyah against the woman they're fighting in that is like Jackie Chan's co-lead from Rumble in the Bronx.
Really? Like the chick that he like befriends?
So it's like she gets him hurt, and then you find out that there's the boy in the wheelchair. It's his older sister.
The older sister, and she's like involved with the gang. Yeah. Oh wow, that's
she's
crazy.
the girl, and that's why I was like, oh, it's her. And then 2 seconds later, she died. I was like, oh, okay, she's gone.
Yeah, she got stabbed, impaled.
Yeah. The warehouse fight is probably my favorite fight, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't love this movie. I don't love the action in this movie, but that's probably my favorite fight. I think for when I was a kid, this movie was pretty perfect for like an introduction movie. But then just like now, having seen like the real raw kung fu stuff of the 80s and 90s, especially the stuff he did in like the early 90s, between Once Upon a Time in China to Fist of Fury, Bodyguard from Beijing, all that kind of stuff. So I think this was a great intro movie for me as a kid, but today I don't know if a lot of the action completely holds up, despite fight choreographer Corey Yuen's best efforts.
For sure, this is like you've had like the fine dining, the 5-star steakhouse. This was a Denny's steak. This is the only thing that you knew at the time. Like that's what you thought was a really good steak. You've tried.
It's a decent. Sure. It's a pretty solid grilled cheese.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think, like I said, nostalgia is the biggest thing for me. I think the soundtrack. I think this obviously set up a film that I slightly prefer a little bit more, Cradle to the Grave,
Mm.
with because I believe before she died, yeah, I believe before she died, Gabrielle Union's character in Cradle to the Grave was supposed to be Aaliyah, because you look
Mm.
at the cast for the most part, it's a lot of people from that movie, DMX, Anthony Anderson again, and she was because they had such a chemistry. Gabrielle Union was good in the role too, but yeah, the soundtrack, the posters, like I feel like just like the little like pose he has, it's the
Mm.
iconography of it all is very like iconic to me and nostalgic for sure. But there are definitely entries, but this one always has a special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah. Where does it rank? Does it rank at the top for you for his American stuff?
I would say top 10. Wouldn't creep into like the top 5 or top 3 for me.
I don't know if I can name 10 American Jet Li movies. I guess
Uh,
I guess when you name all three Expendables, I guess.
you got that. You have War. You have
Oh, War, of course, I
Fearless.
forgot War.
You have the one Cradle to the
Well, Fearless
Grave.
was a Chinese film.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It was distributed in. I guess I still. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I still technically. I
Although
guess,
it was
kinda count
directed by the same guy who directed Freddy versus Jason.
wild switch up.
Isn't that weird? That's
What
just
a
weird.
filmography. I would probably say of his American stuff. Just it's a personal preference. Probably Cradle to the Grave.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
I
a
got
very favorable towards Kiss of the Dragon. I like Kiss of the Dragon a lot.
Kiss the
Of
Dragon's
course,
dark.
Fearless might be my favorite, but Kiss of the Dragon
Yeah.
is very good.
Kiss the Dragon is dude.
Not
Yeah,
Fearless,
like
Unleashed. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love Kiss the Dragon because it feels like a video game towards like the back half, just like with all the fights and everything, and it's pretty gritty. It's like that's a rated R movie for sure. That's the one.
Oh no,
that's-
and yeah, when he kills like both of the final two brothers by just breaking their necks.
dude, brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's brutal. It's
sick.
great.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. Love that.
Do you have any final thoughts on Romeo Must Die?
Oh man. Just nostalgia. Again, I know we use that word a lot. A fun, just kind of throwback film with, very 2000s coded film. I think it's fun to watch. Like, you see the technology. Like, I love the scene when he's like listening to music. I'm like, dude, I remember that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Listening to samples.
It was kind of
that's
like a
crazy.
weird, like, oh yeah, I forgot you could just do that. Like
Yeah.
How much older are you older than me? I don't even know.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
I'm 29 as well. Yeah, we're the same age. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
be
cool.
30 this year. I'll be 30 this year. I'll be 30 in June.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like I caught like the tail end of that, but I do remember going into like a few music places and there was like always headphones on the wall.
FYE
Yeah.
and Suncoast was always the one. Yeah, so it's fun to watch from that standpoint. The soundtrack, Aaliyah, very very nostalgic for that. But my entry, I have a lot of love for it because I think more important, it was my entry to the genre.
Right.
One of the movies.
Absolutely. Well, going from the 2000s to the 1990s, going back in time, let's move into our second film, the movie that I have chosen to pair with yours, 1997's Drive.
My tiger kung fu is better than yours.
Have you ever heard the term bioengine? I have one in my chest. There's a corporation in LA. They will pay me $5 million for it.
You would be held responsible if the competition acquired this object.
You help me get to LA, I'll give you half the money. What do you say? It's suicide. Can we talk about it? Tell me on the way down.
This was a fun one. This is a crazy movie, dude.
It's a fun. Drive, directed by Steve Wang, starring Mark Dacascos, Kadeem Hardison, and Brittany Murphy. Fight choreography from Koichi Sakamoto. A super soldier on the run, Toby has a piece of tech attached to his heart that makes him faster and stronger, enhancing his martial arts skills in every single way. Can he make it across the country to sell the tech to the highest bidder, or will the evil corporation behind the experiment take him down? I chose Drive for... There's like a certain vibe I felt that it fit with yours. When you chose Romeo Must Die, Drive did instantly come to mind. But I did also consider a 1983 film called Duel to the Death. I considered that for a moment. But I decided on Drive because Romeo Must Die is a response to the success of The Matrix, whereas Drive is American Kung Fu done 2 years or more, 2 years before The Matrix, and on a far lower budget. Yeah.
Yes.
What did you think of what did you think of 1997's Drive? And I say 1997 because if you don't say 1997, people think I'm talking about Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, yes, and I do love that film, but yes, 1997 Drive, a crazy wild movie. Just kind of like I didn't look up the synopsis or anything. I had Tubi, I saw it was streaming on there, so I just pulled it up, and I'm just like, okay. And Mark Dacascos, is it, how do you say his last name?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was cool seeing him because I'm like, oh, he was the villain in Cradle to the Grave, which was kind of fun to see. Yes, and he was also in John Wick 4. So I'm like, I've seen this guy before. Obviously, his impact and legacy, he's way more of a legend just those two movies. But like that was fun to see that a little bit because I did recognize him as like the evil guy from Cradle to the Grave, probably in the Gems. It's funny because this came out in 1997 and Rush Hour came out in 1998, and kind of this isn't a buddy cop, but it was. A Chinese guy and a black guy with that dynamic.
Well, so I couldn't find like 100% confirmation, but I could have sworn I heard something saying that like this was originally written for Jackie.
And I could see that. I could totally see that. And Mark does a good job. Like I think he's funny at times. Like he's got like good physical humor. He uses like the environment a lot to like help him in his fights. I noticed that as well. So it's funny you say that. Brittany Murphy, I was like, what are you doing here? Okay.
And she's bonkers.
Yeah, I could have done without her character in some spots. I'm like, what are we doing here? Because we both have, I saw that you lied to Letterboxd. We both have this at a 3 out of 5. Like that's where I landed as well. Like I think, and I recommend. Just kind of like, I was like, okay, like just kind of like it's ridiculous. Some of the plot, I love some of the like the opening's really solid. I was kind of more confused. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because I noticed he could jump, and I was like, he jumped pretty high to like grab on like that crate. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that was just like a visual effect or something or a stunt that like was kind of wonky. I'm like, okay, no, finding out that he is like a super soldier. Essentially, that's what I equated to being a Marvel guy, and some total switch ups that kind of caught me off guard at times. Like they're at the karaoke, like when he's like singing, like, hey! And then he sees like the other super soldier dude, and like what got me, what was funny and not intentionally, was just how long and like they pan on his face where he's like holding like that shock look for so long. I'm like, what is he looking at? Like it took too long to get it, but I thought some really good like action though at times, even though sometimes it's a little ridiculous. Like again, when they're handcuffed and kind of fighting like that deserted warehouse and such, and kind of the ridiculous nature of it was fun. And I had a good time with it. I think it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it was just kind of right. Very much, and I could see like why he paired it with Romeo Must Die. Very much in the similar vein. I could see like very similar vibe. So it was easy to transition into after I watched Romeo Must Die, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, just I don't have any knocks. It's more just like Brittany Murphy's character is just all over the place. She's kind of a spaz. I'm like, I don't know if that's her or if that's how she was written. Rest in peace to her. But yeah, solid flick, fun little like 90s watch, and I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, so the other movie I did consider, Duel to the Death from 1983. I almost went with that one because the core plot of Romeo Must Die being these two people from different sides of the war coming together to solve the problem. And what Duel to the Death is about is it's this tournament that happens like once every generation. Not tournament. There's a fight that happens once every generation where a Japanese clan and a Chinese clan take their best fighters and they have to fight to the death. Duel to the death. But then they figure out that somebody is conspiring to make sure that a certain side wins. And so then both fighters come together because they're like, this is honorable. This is something that we need to take seriously, and it can't be, you can't mess with it. It can only be between us, and we need to make sure it's done right. So they come together to take down the conspiracy and also end up fighting a bunch of ninjas. And eventually,
very serious film. It looks like, as I've looked it up. Dang.
Yeah, and once they do solve that issue, they do then have their duel to the death. But that's why that two sides coming together is why I thought, maybe Duel to the Death. But I ended up going with Drive. How you brought up a few things. How familiar are you with Mark Dacascos?
Besides those two movies, that's it. That's the only the place I've recognized with him. But I see has quite the filmography for sure.
Oh, he is good. He is good.
Yeah,
There's
very charming guy. Like he's just fun to watch.
There
Like
is
that scene,
a,
I remember his sequence in John Wick Chapter 4 where he was like, "I'm such a fan, but I have to kill
Yeah,
you."
he
Like
sits next to him on the
love
couch.
that. Yeah, I think it was 3. Sorry, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah. He there's a web series of Mortal Kombat called Mortal Kombat Legacy, and he's in season 2 as Kung Lao.
Oh, I love Mortal Kombat. I do remember watching that. Okay, that's dope.
And when it ends on a cliffhanger of him about to fight Liu Kang, and then we didn't get another season, I was very freaking mad.
Dude. What a throwback. I'm gonna have to binge all that stuff before the new Mortal Kombat comes out. That's dope.
Some of it's bad, but some of it's really good.
Correct. Correct.
This question that sounds random, but I promise it comes back around. Did you grow up a Power Rangers kid?
Absolutely, I did. I 100% grew up a Power Rangers kid.
Yes. What did you watch? Where did you drop off? You know, every kid drops off eventually.
Yeah, I think I dropped off around like '05 or '06, but like Mighty Morphin, all that stuff. Yeah, I think I watched up until then.
Sounds like you probably dropped off roughly around me, which would probably put around like SPD.
Yes, SPD. I remember watching that. Do remember watching that, and then yeah, I did stop watching it.
So I only ask because the fight coordinator on this movie was oftentimes the fight coordinator and sometimes whole episode director of many seasons of Power Rangers. Like even from the 90s to early 2000s, I think he quit or he left around after SPD. But yeah, this the guy behind all these fight scenes and his whole stunt team called Alpha Stunts worked on a lot of Power Rangers in the early 2000s and late 90s.
That's sick, dude. That's awesome. What's funny you mentioned that because there's a bunch of Power Rangers on Tubi. After I watched Drive, I was like, oh shoot, let me pop into a couple of these, and I watched like 3 episodes.
I watched
it was
2 episodes of Time Force last night.
Hey, that's awesome, dude. The 2017 movie, man, we failed it. I wish they would have done more with
I saw it in theaters. I bought it on Blu-ray. I didn't. I haven't. I did my job.
That's right. That's right. We did not.
But yeah, I don't think this movie has a whole lot to offer outside of the action. But that being said, it is very, very solid, very fun action.
Yeah, I think it does kind of correlate with like Romeo Must Die a little bit of like you have these two polar opposite people who have to work together, and so I think it has that. But yeah, I was like, man, like I think Rush Hour had to have taken some of this stuff and kind of applied it. I know the movie was decent; it wasn't a smash hit, but like it was very Rush Hour coded. But obviously, this came out beforehand.
And you know, it's funny you sort of bring up the idea of this movie and then Rush Hour. There is a third thing that then cops this whole idea, and by that I guess I just mean Asian guy and funny black co-lead. Is there was a show in the late in 1999 or 1998. I have it down here, right here. Martial Law.
I have heard Martial Law. I've never seen it.
So it is Sammo Hung, my absolute goat from Hong Kong. He came over in the late 90s as well to do this TV show. So it was an American TV show. And initially in the first season, and I guess the first half of the season, there's like a whole core cast of characters, but his partner as a cop, his partner is an actor named Louis Mandylor. You also get Kelly Hu in this from like she's Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2, like she fights Wolverine with like the adamantium fingernails.
I know who she is. Yeah.
And then she's the love interest in the Scorpion King with The Rock. But so his initial partner is Louis Mandylor, so it's a white guy. And then after Rush Hour came out, they brought in Arsenio Hall.
Hey, I love me
and
some
so
Arsenio.
they paired.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I felt bad for Louis Mandylor because he then sort of becomes like a B plot character where he takes all the B plots, and then it's Sammo Hung running around with Arsenio Hall.
Interesting. Is that streaming anywhere? Martial Law?
I have no idea, but it is extremely 90s. It's like just like everything about this is at 90s as hell. And there's a really fun episode where the bad guys are bank robbers played by Kevin James and Boss Rutan.
Oh, wow.
MMA legend Boss Rutan. Fun show.
Okay.
It's bonkers. It's weird. It's great. Are you ready for a Kung Fu fun fact?
I love me some fun fact. Hit me.
Kung Fu fun fact. So pretty little basic fun fact here. So they blew up the motel at one point, right?
Yes.
I fully assumed that was a miniature hotel. I assumed that was in the budget. It looked like a miniature. I'm wrong. They blew up a goddamn motel.
Dang.
But it's also something that happened, I guess, before they blow it up. So they shoot it with a fake missile.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Dacascos said that, so that like they're running as he like shoots the missile. And apparently they were like, hey, you ran like too far ahead of the missile. We need you guys to slow down a little bit. And so like they ran, and apparently it comes like right behind Mark Dacascos' head. And he's like, I felt the wind off that bad boy. It was moving.
Sheesh.
And then
that's crazy.
Yeah, so they blew that whole thing up. And apparently like Kadeem Hardison was like, I was so excited about that shot because I was like, I'm going to get my running away from an explosion moment. I'm going to look so cool. And he's like, as soon as I like realized what was actually about to happen, I quit caring about looking cool and I just worried about running.
Yeah, and like just not getting hurt. That's great.
Yeah. My other fun fact here is the final fight against the other super soldier guy is a actor, and I think he's even like a pop star named Masaya Kato. Mark Dacascos broke his ribs. A lot of the fights in this were a lot of contact. And
it looks like it. Yeah. Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
I like that style. But so Mark Dacascos like does his whole pump up thing and just boom. And apparently he just really took that hit to the chest and he cracked some ribs.
Damn.
But then also, yeah, it looks great. But then also Masaya Kato said that because he knew in that moment, he knew instantly, he's like, I just broke a rib or two. He also was like, I'm playing a super soldier. I can't, like, I have to be stone faced.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there like playing it off like it didn't hurt, and inside he's like, oh.
Yeah, shit. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, that was a good. It's like choreography is all over. Like it does a lot, but it was fun to watch. But that's cool to know.
Kung Fu fun fact. So what I guess so we discussed some of the action that stood out to you in that one. Did any like major action scenes, or what stood out to you about the action and how it was maybe done and everything in this movie?
A lot of I feel like they use the most of their budget within the set pieces because there's a lot of different spots that go in the location, right? Like in the motel, it starts off in the room, and then you have the black guy fighting in like the garage, and then Mark's kind of doing this over here, and like it was some good editing, like it kind of kept you invested. Like the first one was like pretty grand in scale, which I liked. Again, on set, practical of its time, good use of the wire work. I think a Romeo Must Die was definitely a little more obvious when it was. I thought it was pretty handled like well when it was there, and like you said, it looks stiff. Like some of the I mean like in the fighting, because it's like like these guys aren't wincing much. Like they're probably like again getting ribs broken, and I think it adds to the authenticity of the choreography at times, and very high energy. A lot of cuts, a lot of like just different things to kind of keep you invested. It's like I wonder from like a studio filmmaking perspective, it was like we gotta just keep because the action sequences are probably only like 10-15 minutes apart. Like there's a lot. Like it's like okay, they're looking for him, they catch him, like he's gonna kind of find a way out of his fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm like, dang, like, and it makes it was pretty moved a lot during the 90-minute runtime. Besides the Brittany Murphy stuff, which I could have done without. Right. But
she's just a lot in this. She's a lot. She's doing a lot.
Is. I'm like,
and I feel like every time she did a lot, somebody else said, "Give me more."
Yeah, like I was just like, geez, like, and he ditches her at the end, which is hilarious. Which I was like, yeah, get up on her there, man. But yeah, I think what I liked the most was just how much action there was, what they did with the characters, fun situations. Again, I like when it comes to action where it's like, okay, you put the character in a situation that on paper seems impossible, right? Then how does the movie, in a way, as long as I don't have to suspend my disbelief too much, make it entertaining, I'll rock with you. And I feel like this movie did a good job of that.
Yeah. And I think so I was watching all the interviews behind the scenes and stuff, and I think something that really helps a movie this small, what made it all work so well, because it's ridiculous, it's low budget, they're going for maybe some higher concepts and something they sometimes can't afford to do, is apparently they like Steve Wang, the director, had like all the major players, fight choreographer, editors, all the major actors, had them all at his house for dinner. And while during dinner, we're gonna discuss what this movie is, so that they could all get on the same page as like, this is what we're making.
That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, and then I think it also helps. So like one thing I think that doesn't let the action hold up for much for me with Romeo Must Die is, I think that things need to work together. What makes something like The Raid these days work so well is that partnership between the stunt team and Yayan Ruyan and Iko Uwais, the guys performing on screen, and the director, Gareth Evans, is they can be one cohesive unit. They know what they want from their action scenes. They know exactly how to craft it and every single thing about it. Where with Romeo Must Die, you have Corey Yuen crafting the choreography and everything, but then you maybe don't have the director and the editor on the same page as him.
It's
Whereas
a machine.
with this, right, you need things working together. Whereas with this, you have Koichi Sakamoto, a bloody freaking legend, love that guy. And he had already worked with director Steve Wang on Guyver 2 Dark Hero, which, if you've never seen, it's not a very good movie. But that final fight scene, holy shit, that final fight scene's incredible.
Okay. Is it on YouTube?
Just watch that final fight on YouTube. It's fucking great.
Okay.
But so Steve Wang already had this sort of working relationship with Koichi Sakamoto. Both of them, Koichi Sakamoto being the stunt guy and the martial artist and all that stuff, and Steve Wang just being pretty much a kung fu nerd, essentially was the Gareth Evans to his Iko Uwais. Knew exactly what he wanted from his action and knew that Koichi Sakamoto could deliver it. And I think those two really knew how to work together to make sure that they got the most out of every single fight scene.
That makes it's very cohesive. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, things got to work together, and they work together really, really well. Another note I have on here: Brittany Murphy is here for a short time, and she's doing a lot.
She is. She did the most with her screen time. In some ways good, in some ways not so good.
One thing that bothered me about this movie is I don't think it has a proper ending.
It's very abrupt. Very abrupt.
It's not even just abrupt, but like, what gets resolved?
Yeah, like, are they still gonna hunt him?
They've taken down like the core team of mercenaries that's been hunting them that have not been very effective. They're all a bunch of bumbling idiots.
Yeah.
But then they've also taken down the other, like, more advanced prototype super soldier. But the evil organization is still around. They're still there. You're going to tell me they have someone else to send after them? But then also, they're trying to travel across country to go sell this piece of technology attached to his heart. And we don't actually see them get there. They just finished off the bad guy, and then they're like, clear line to the finish line. Let's get going.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it is. It's very unresolved. I noticed that too. It's definitely like a couple head scratching moments. I'm like, well, they're still gonna get chased, right?
Yeah, like, I can do abrupt. I watch old Shaw Brothers movies. I can do abrupt. I remember the first time I saw Crippled Avengers. Great movie, amazing final fight. And it ends with one of the core heroes dying, and they don't even like mourn his death or anything. They kill the bad guy. And then they just high five and walk off, and the movie ends right there. And I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm fine with the movie ending so abruptly. You did the thing you said you were going to do. You killed the bad guy. But this movie does not do that. This movie gives us a goal and then kind of just ends before we get to the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, okay, sure.
Yeah. But fun movie nonetheless. Do you have any final thoughts on 1997's Drive?
A lot of fun. I think Rush Hour definitely took some beats and some familiarness with this. But I think it made the most of its time. Like I said, it was a breezy watch, didn't overstay its welcome. I might throw it on in the future, maybe just just to kind of have some fun or something, maybe whatnot.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of want to dive into more of Mark's movies for sure. Definitely made me want to do that. But I had a good time with it. Again, solid 3 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't give it any higher, wouldn't give it any lower. I had a good time with it.
I like it. I've seen it probably about 3 to 5 times now. I always enjoy some Mark Dacascos. This is, I mean, it's. I think the first time I saw it was like it felt really special because I was already a Mark Dacascos fan. I'd seen a good amount of his more modern stuff, or even just like looked up some fight scenes on YouTube. And the first time I saw like a clip of this, I was like, "There's sometimes you find a clip of something especially as a kung fu nerd or kung fu fan." You can't always just come across like a whole movie and be like blown away by it. Sometimes you're just hunting for something online.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time I saw I was like one of the fight scenes from like Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, and I was like, I need to go see this movie. I like maybe came across like the motel fight scene with the boots on his hands and everything. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I need to see this movie. And I eventually did, and now I have it on Blu-ray, and it's very, very good. You should all go pick this up on Blu-ray. Let's go ahead and jump into some final questions here. So we started with medium budget. I say medium because these days budgets are $250,000. Medium/high budget film with an international star, and a major Hollywood studio, and then went low budget flick with a star that most people really can look at him and be like, I know that face, but I don't know that name. What would you say sort of differentiated both movies in your experience?
I would say your budget.
I'm missing my audio. Where my audio at?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I can hear you again. I can hear you. It was my earbud.
Okay, cool. I would say budget for sure. I think Drive is definitely like way more lighthearted. Just kind of on the run, kind of trying to escape the evil bad guys. I think Romeo Must Die has got a little more depth to it. It's got a little bit more drama, a little slower too. I think I forgot to mention that. Like definitely, there's some decent amount of time between the action set pieces. But I think two movies for sure with international stars definitely trying to break out into the Western side of things, American stardom. But one is more breezy. One's kind of like, okay, you got to kind of have to pay attention a little bit. With Romeo Must Die, there's kind of some complexity, kind of some crime, drama kind of stuff going on to where it's a little more heavy, a little more rated R. But I think what I think about both these, I think it blends both cultures, I think, pretty decently, especially with Romeo Must Die. I think, like, to this day, like, just to show you, like, just to kind of elaborate more on, like, I think how much the black culture and black community loves Jet Li is, like, like when I go get my hair cut at the barbershop, these movies are on at least once a year, like Kung Fu movie, Jackie Chan, like, Bruce Lee. So, like, martial arts. I think specifically, what is I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it. The one movie of Bruce Lee where he fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and it's like a tower.
Yeah, Game of Death.
Yeah, okay, Game of Death. Yeah, like that one specifically. So I think there was definitely some intentionality with infusing that movie within black culture, which I really enjoyed. And even with 1997 Drive too, with one of the guys being like a black lead as well, because I think he was fun just to point out like how ridiculous the movie was. Like that's kind of what his character was a standard for the audience, and just like we're just getting dragged along for the ride just like him. But both had both just really good flicks, kind of in like that it's a very specific era, like 1997 to 2000, right? One is pre-Matrix, one is post-Matrix, and boy, you can see the like the impact on both for sure.
Yeah, I think one. I mean, it's weird to say like bring up that idea again of like a cohesive unit making the movie, and like they brought everybody in and said like, what are we making? Whereas you can see a difference between a low budget movie with not a lot of time, not a lot of money, but one goal, and a studio film,
right?
Where it's like we have the money and we have the time. And we have way too many resources.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so I've oftentimes fallen into the low budget stuff, and especially like in these more recent years where there was a large amount of time in like the 2010s or late 2000s where I just never cared for a lot of the big studio action, and I would just be like, I'm gonna go watch this extremely low budget straight to DVD action movie.
Yeah,
it's better sometimes.
No, for sure. I think there's a lot of slop, a lot of corporate machine stuff. So I think a lot of that stuff you find more heart and more passion for the project. So totally get that.
Yeah. Where do you think you may go next in the martial arts cinema world?
I'm definitely gonna check out some of Mark's stuff for sure. I think that definitely inspired me to do that. Something I'm excited about checking out more. But I think with kind of what I'd like to see, what martial arts movie I want to go into, as I started to watch Jet Li stuff, I was like, okay, there's definitely a couple things I haven't seen, and even Jackie Chan as we've been talking about. So I'm gonna kind of dive into those late 70s, 80s movies when I have some time for sure.
I think you gotta check out Ong Bak from 2003.
Yes, Ong Bak. Yes,
and Love Unleashed. You gotta go Ong Bak.
Okay, yeah.
It's
easy watch for me.
It is a benchmark movie in honestly not even just martial arts. It's a benchmark movie in action. I think that there are certain levels of full contact brutality that we get throughout action and martial arts in the late 2000s and into the 2010s that comes from people who saw Ong Bak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like it is a benchmark movie in action and martial arts.
As we were sitting here, I had Letterboxd put up on Chrome. I added to the watch list, so I'm gonna check it out.
I keep losing my audio.
I'm here. I promise.
I didn't hear a single freaking word.
I said while we were talking, I had Letterboxd pulled up on Chrome already, and I added it to my watch list. Ong Bak. Hello.
I hear you.
Okay.
What is going on?
I added Ong Bak to my watch list on Letterboxd. That's all I was trying to say. I added it. Yes.
Good. It's fantastic. And Ong Bak 2, in my opinion, is better, but Ong Bak 1 is the one that is the classic. Do you have any final thoughts on this martial arts cinema experience?
No, man. These were fun to watch. I appreciate you kind of reactivated my itch a little bit of kind of, I got a lot of time on my hands to kind of watch some stuff during the day. So excited to kind of dive in and kind of find some dope movies in the genre that I have not seen. So thank you.
How old's your oldest kid again?
My daughter, she'll be 4 in April. 4.
Okay, I was gonna say if they're like a little bit older, I'd be like, show them some kung fu.
It's all Disney princess, man. We're cooked. we got a while before we're there.
I hear you. I got you.
Maybe my son when he gets like 5 or 6 for sure. Yeah.
Right. Oh, he'll already. Well, I don't do kid. I don't. The Power Rangers just like ended.
We'll show him the good. We'll show him the good. I'll show him the good stuff for sure.
Yeah. My last question here is just simply.
I
did. You have fun?
Thank you for having me, man. I hope to come back. I don't know, like if you'll come back again and talk some other stuff, but whether it's like big action blockbuster stuff we have coming out in the States or whatever, I'd love to talk again for sure, man. So thank you for having me.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much for coming on, Brock. Where can everyone?
You can find me at Movie Talk with Brock on Facebook. Let me just go through it all: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. TikTok's my biggest platform. Twitter as well, or X, whatever.
Right. They're the big ones. And you can, of course, find me at Martial Arts Film Freak on Instagram, the Facebook page, and TikTok. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the show. Thank you for liking this video and subscribing. And don't forget to comment your thoughts on the movies that we watched here today in the comment section down below. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Whether you were a frequent visitor or you just came, this is your first time here because you wanted to hang out with Brock and talk some Kung Fu. This is your first time or your second time, your third time, your fourth time. I welcome you to Kung Fu.